Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Bay. Thank you for stopping by the collection room. Today we're taking another look at some comics. These are all first issues. And you could tell I'm going to be rich from these. So if you like videos like this, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. I've noticed like 99% of my viewers aren't subscribed. And it would just be cool if you did subscribe. Anyway, here we're going to go with first issues. This is all Marvel. This is all, I believe, 90s. I don't think anything goes back too far. But I'm going to start off with X-Force 1. X-Force, of course, just the first good 20 issues smack of Rob Liefeld all over him. And this used to be New Mutants, and you could tell at New Mutants 87, he kind of like really started taking over. And I really liked New Mutants before issue 87 or whatever it was. And afterwards, I wasn't into it as much. I know it was the introduction of Deadpool and a lot of other factors, but I was just never as into the series as I was the earlier stuff. I thought it was better. Anyway, this is X-Force number 1. You're in for some stuff here now. A force to be reckoned with. There's going to be so many pouches in this, you won't even be able to contain yourself. Look at that. See, and this is the thing. Everybody always talks about Rob Liefeld's. They pick on the hands, they pick on the pouches, the big guns, and the weird feet, and all that stuff. That doesn't matter to me. What I noticed when I know it's a Rob Liefeld is this. This hair. It's the same hair on everyone, and it's this strange little curly moppet of hair, and it doesn't matter if it's this or if it's Youngblood or even his work on Evangeline. He puts everybody in this particular hair, and I don't hate it, but to me that is the factor that is my least favorite. Everything else I'm good with. It's just that quirk with the hair, because that is the most Rob Liefeld. It makes everybody look the same, even if their design is different, their outfits are different. That's the only thing I don't care for. Now, X-Force, you can mock it all you want. X-Force was a damn cool book back in the days. This was extremely cool. And of course, that's the extreme version of Liefeld's, I don't know what you call that, Triceratops hair. This was like, oh yeah, Shatterstar cutting off Reaper's hand. Stuff like this. This is like a direct transition. This is right after. I had an X-Force card set. It covered a lot of this, and it was kind of the gap between X-Force and I think it had some issues of New Mutants in it as well. But I always thought this was cool. This was back when Liefeld was making it, so you know, I think half the team is gay now, which is pretty standard for Marvel. But back then, I mean, it was just Liefeld making like ridiculous muscle dudes and all sorts of stuff going on, and it was great. It was fantastic. Punch that guy across the room. Do it. Liefeld also loves to make you flip the page sideways. I've noticed this in his work with X-Force. That's cool. Especially with issue 4, the entire thing, which is a brilliant, wonderful, beautiful issue. However, he does make everybody, like, yet the whole book is flipped sideways. Did she just rip his tongue out? I think she does. That's wild. But everything going on in these pages is wild. The pages are, I mean, just crazy action-packed. You could tell he gave this book both barrels. And, you know, you can mock it all you want, but it rocked back in the day. This was popular. This was so much the trend that everybody else was trying to emulate it. This book ruled, and there was a lot of them. So it originally came packaged with a card, and when I bought out a comic book store a few years back, I had like 20 issues of X-Force 1, all sealed, all with the Deadpool, well, all with the card inside. Only one of them had the Deadpool card, which I ended up selling for like I think at the time it was like $30, but maybe it was more than that. I can't remember. But most of them had like the cable card. They didn't have the Deadpool card, but I know the Deadpool card was rare, and so I, of course, sold that. Got a bunch of characters that I mean, they fit into the Marvel Universe, but they really fit in. I mean, this just if you didn't know better, you'd think you were reading like the first issue of Youngblood or something. It looks that much like it. Great stuff, though. I can't say I hate it. It's very dated, and I wouldn't want every comic to look like this. But there's sometimes you just want to crack open a Liefeld book, and this is one of them. And he always makes this guy stand really weird, like almost pigeon-toed. Deadpool, the man you have to love to hate and hate to love. As hard as it may be to believe, Deadpool gives even mercenaries a bad name. So, I mean, his original design for Deadpool was so different. Shatterstar, I always thought he was super cool. He's one of the characters that they made gay. They made Richter gay. I don't know how many in this original team ended up being gay, but the woke stick hit this group hard. I think probably just because of how over the top juvenile, manly it was at one point. I felt they just had to like take it down a notch, maybe. But either way, I loved this first issue. I even loved the first 10 issues. I mean, it was just good. Next up, this is a chrome cover, so you know it's worth a fortune. This is Nova #1. No prospects, no future, no limits. Interesting how he just kind of fades out. He's animated differently. They fall away. I don't know if they'll stay there. Hopefully they will. Maybe I'll just lay them down. We'll take a look at this Nova. And this is 94. You know what? Let me look real quick to see what year this X-Force was. I want to say it was 94. 91. This would be 94. And it doesn't look bad. It's not going to scream Liefeldian all over it, but holy cow. That's some awesome looking stuff, though. Chris Eloupiolis? No, that's letters. Well, who the heck's the penciler? Chris Marinian. Chris Marinan. Fabian Nicieza. That's some awesome work right there. Just that chugging around in different stuff. Marvel Classic Apparel. You know, this stuff was awesome to be rocking during that time period. I don't even think the cartoon was on the air yet. So almost like if you had this on, it was just from the comics. Like there was no movies. There was nothing. There was barely an X-Men comic. I don't think the Spider-Man cartoon was out yet. And the X-Men cartoon wasn't out yet. But holy cow, was that stuff cool. And when you wore it, it was like almost an underground feel. Because like just nobody was wearing it. It wasn't all over everything. You couldn't go to Walmart and buy an X-Men shirt or a Punisher shirt or any Marvel shirt. You could probably find a Superman t-shirt would be the most superhero swag you were going to be able to find. The most comic book stuff that was out there. And just after that, it was not happening. So that stuff was awesome. This book looks awesome. It's bright and popping. Kind of dig it. I confess to not knowing a ton about Nova. I have to look at check the name. Except that he has a really good Marvel Legends figure. And I remember, I think it was the same version of Nova. It might have been a younger version. That was in New Warriors. And I really did enjoy the New Warriors comic book. Oh, it's the man. It's Gladiator. He is a pricey Marvel Legends these days, but I really loved when I had it. Still speaking the Shi'ar. You chucking a train into space? I always thought he was cool. I would have liked to see him hang on Earth quite a bit more and tussle with a lot more of the regular heroes. As it is, you know, it was always a, you know, an off-planet mission that would involve him. So Gladiator was cool. Those are some neat uniforms. She overdid it with the eyeliner there, but it's okay. Or their glasses. I don't know. They don't look like glasses. I love the colors. This thing is actually really popping. I appreciate it. Yeah, this looked like a fun book. The art's a little fast and loose, but 94, yeah, I dig that. That's 2 number 1s. I'm rich. Free poster inside. Wonder Man #1. Of course. I mean, it's the first issue. Lights, camera, action. I'm rich. I mean, this is a collector's item. I want your life. That's a big hand. It's a big hand right there. I wonder who that is. Who is that? I don't know who that is. I almost say it looks like Goliath or... Yeah, Goliath. Okay. I do know who it is then. And I'm fairly familiar with Wonder Man. I didn't read a ton of Avengers West Coast. But Wonder Man was always kind of one of those books that was floating around in the quarter bins. And I always liked to get it whenever I saw it. Some of the covers were great. And I would pick up West Coast. I didn't read it that much, but I just couldn't leave them in quarter bins. I always tended to grab them. Wonder Man was always one of those characters. I was a big fan of Hardcase from the Malibu Ultraverse. And this guy has a lot in common with him as far as like being an actor and being all this stuff. And what is our poster? Oh, it's still in the book. Nice. Wonder Man, the movie. You will believe a man can lift a wall. That is cute. And there's the tags for everything. Very interesting. Bright colors. I didn't look at the year. What's our year here? 91 again. 91 was a big year. Nirvana hit the scene. The Ninja Turtle movie was big. Yeah, 91 kind of ruled. Of course, most of the 90s ruled. It didn't start to get weird until like 97, I think. Then they started getting into the Y2K thing, and it was all downhill from there. Ew, he just jumped in his mouth. Don't jump in his mouth. You're gonna make him puke or pass out. That's disgusting. Anyway, wraps up nicely. He gets the girl in the end. Who can argue with that? It's a good book. Darkhawk #1. Isn't this the one that like went like stupid as like a meme? It got like expensive because of like a meme reason. It's like, oh, I have Darkhawk 1. I'm gonna be rich now. Fantastic first issue. I think I used to have a Chrome version of this, but I traded it to my neighbor if I remember right. Darkhawk was another. He was in the. Was he in the New Warriors? I was thinking he was in the New Warriors. Maybe I'm wrong. This book looks awful. It is really faded and smudged. That page looks amazing, but you can see how it's kind of like faded. Like the art looks great, but the ink and time has done some damage to this guy. And what year is this? 91. Man, Marvel was swinging with both fists at this point. They were dual wielding. New title once a year? Marvel had 2 a day. A little bit faded, dark. It doesn't have the color that some of the others do, and it's just a little sad. But I mean, it also is a little bit darker story. Period. It is Darkhawk. Kind of reminds me of some of the Cloak and Dagger stuff that came out, which I loved. But this, it does just look a little bit faded. I don't know anything about the character himself or his powers or why he wears that suit. None of it. Completely ignorant. I did have the figure at one point, but I ended up selling it to somebody because they were all onto the Darkhawk. I don't know what you call it, a meme, basically, where everybody's like, yeah, Darkhawk's going to be like, he's going to have a movie, he's going to be the next big thing, and that's not going to happen. Probably. I would think that Marvel has a few more properties that they could go to before they reach to Darkhawk. Of course, you know, I would have said that, and then they made the Guardians of the Galaxy. And they made the Eternals, which no one liked or wanted. They made that one Kung Fu one, which was okay. But it's like, you guys got a lot of properties left laying on the table that you could probably do something with. Generation X or Avengers West Coast. Shoot, even the New Warriors. I mean, you got some stuff you could work with, guys. Maybe down that list, somebody will look at Darkhawk and say, yes, let me bring that to the modern era and totally shit all over it and ruin it. Kind of like She-Hulk. I still resent that because I loved She-Hulk. And the series pretty much put the nail in the coffin of them doing anything with that. Anyway, let's hope they leave Darkhawk alone so that my pristine, super valuable issue will stay super valuable. And thank you guys for watching. That's pretty much all I got to say on these. Marvel first issues. Most of these are from '91. It was a banger year for Marvel, and glad it was. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later. Bye.